Hello, hello. Welcome. Another amazing episode of Wesam's World is coming up. Thank you for tuning in live on Adobe Radio. Appreciate you guys who tune in live every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And for those of you watching on YouTube, what's up? Good to see your faces. How was your week? Everything good? Very special episode we got coming up. I'm going to explain it to you here in a little bit. And if you're listening on Spotify, appreciate you. And you might be listening on Apple Podcasts, but I'm not sure if we fixed that yet, to be completely honest. So just listen to us on Spotify and YouTube at this point. I'm so happy to start recording in this new studio. We've been building it for weeks now, and we've been on a little bit of a pause, obviously, since I've been, working primetime again, and that's fine, living up to my name. And not just me. This is what I love. This is what I love about my circle of friends, real quick. Everybody's working right now. Everybody's kicking butt, and I love it. I love it so much. Peyton over here. Peyton's just, submission into a film festival. Accepted. Can't stop, won't stop. There you go. And we'll get him a mic eventually, because I got those mics, by the way.
The thing is, it's here. I just kind of forgot to
He forgot. And that's
look it up.
And that's okay, but it makes me angry, and that's fine. That's fine that he forgot, but it makes me angry. And that's okay for me to say out loud. I'm allowed to say things make me angry. I'm really excited for our guest today. I have known Karen now for a few years, and I wanted to bring her on because I love Yoga NOHO and what the school has done for me. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when she comes on the show, but I'm a practical guy, okay? Whenever I tell you guys stuff that I suggest or information that I think will benefit your lives, it's because I've seen results from it. I'm not going to say stuff that be like, this might make you feel better, you're going to feel your world open up and more opportunities. No. You're going to see practical results. I'm a practical guy. It's awesome to feel good. It's awesome to get spiritual. It's awesome to be, granola, a tree hugger, and that's all great. But if there's no practical results with it, bye, okay? I don't want to deal with it, okay? Because we do live in the real world, and that's what it is. So that's why I want to talk to you guys about Yoga NOHO, what yoga has done for me, and specifically Karen's journey through yoga, through movement, and how much this school has really helped me move forward in my life through difficult times and has helped me reach higher levels of not just physical awareness, but more awareness in my craft and acting, me as an artist, and they are practical results. They are not just things that make me feel good. No, I've booked more. I've made more money because of this school. That's as simple as I can get with it. So I'm really excited. She's had over 30 years experience in the yoga world. She's studied in India. She's owner of Yoga NOHO. She's worked as well with core power things. She studied in Iyengar in New York City. We'll go through all of that when she comes on. And I really hope that if this show resonates with you and you live in the LA area, make sure you try out Yoga NOHO. It's here in North Hollywood, and let us know what you think of the school. And I'm sure it's going to help you. And the teachers they have there. It's not just Karen teaching. It's these amazing teachers there that really help you and know what they're talking about. It's not somebody who's done 100-hour training course. These teachers they have there have been teaching for years and years and years, and they live it as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined with Karen Russell. I absolutely love Yoga NOHO because I'm all about practical results, and the things that yoga has done for me, especially at Yoga NOHO, has been freaking amazing, just to say it bluntly. My career got better. I found better peace with myself. Physically, I've been the best shape of my life. I'm 34 years now. and I don't have knee pain anymore, which I used to have a lot of knee pain before I started doing yoga more consistently. And when my body is flexible and I feel like I'm in control of my breath more, I don't know, my emotions are better stabilized, my mind is sharper, and yeah, this is why you're here, because I want to plug the school. I want to plug you, and you remind me of my acting teacher in college who I loved, and so that's probably why I have such a, I don't know, an inkling towards you, or a liking towards you as well.
I like that, all of that.
Yeah, and
You can keep saying all those things. Just keep saying all those great things.
No, but you know your stuff so well, and you're just this well of knowledge when it comes to yoga, and I just like listening to you, and I think that people, our listeners, would gain a lot from you. So just to break it down briefly, you had such an extensive movement career as well, like a dancer, correct? And you got to work with
Well, I started out, so my whole focus, I was 11 years old. I went to see the ballet, and then I went to see the Rockettes. And so I remember going, I'm going to be a Rockette. I was 11. I told my parents. I came from a very small town in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I said, that's it. I want to be a Rockette. So I danced since the time I was 5 years old. And then I was in the Erie Civic Ballet Company. And then I moved right when I graduated from high school. I moved to Florida, and I tried to go to college, and lasted about 2 years, and said I needed to go to New York, but I ended up in a road show called Body and Soul. It was like a feather kind of, showgirl show, and it was fun. Our first gig was in the Virgin Islands. I was 20, celebrating my 21st birthday, on the road with Body and Soul. And then I just had to go to New York City. So what happened was I wasn't tall enough to be a Rockette, because I'm 5'6.5".
How tall do they have to be?
5'8", 5'9".
Oh, whoa, that's that big of a difference. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Even if I cheated and wore the 3-inch heels, it was really tough. So I studied voice and dance. I was on scholarship at the time, Steps Studios is still there. I was on scholarship as a dancer, and then I studied acting at the Actors and Directors Lab, and I studied voice. And then I thought, okay, I can't be a Rockette, I'll try to do musicals. Well, I ended up, my first professional job, I was a backup singer, kind of a backup singer, dancer for Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
So my first show was Raise Your Fist and Yell. I was 24 years old. When that tour bus pulled up, and it was all the, in the 80s, for some of you that weren't born yet, was really, really big hair. The cowboy boots with the bandanas around the boots. Everybody had sunglasses, and there I was, my first gig. I was the only female on that tour. And we were doing the Monsters of Rock tour, which was Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Megadeth, Motorhead, and Alice Cooper.
You were all part of that?
Yeah, and I was the only female on the road.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, so I went from musical theater to, there I was. And
Wow.
And so I was on tour for about 3 years, and I ended up in Los Angeles. Then I moved to New York, and I actually lived in New York, and then got the Alice Cooper show, and then, because I studied in New York, and then Alice Cooper. And then I ended up not going back to New York, because I realized, wow, you can have a kitchen and a living room and a bedroom for the same price of a little room, a closet in New York. So I thought, this is great. I'm moving to LA. And, so what happened was I was a dancer, and I did a lot of commercial work. So I commercials and movies, and I did some epic movies like Dick Tracy. I was Madonna's backup singer dancer for Dick Tracy, and we worked on that for 8 months.
Wow.
It was the first movie that dancers were paid union actor wages. So.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
I just want to go
that's
back to the Alice Cooper thing, because my introduction to Alice Cooper was when I watched the movie Wayne's World. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one? And I was like, oh man, this guy's cool. I was like, oh, what is? And then that scene where he's like talking really philosophically. I'm like, wait a minute, is that? So I like delved a little deeper into him.
Well,
so
he
what's
goes
he
back.
like?
Well, first of all, I met him when he was really on his kind of your comeback, his return tour, right? So what happened is he was huge in the 70s. So when and he had a lot of alcohol problems and stuff. So, I mean, there was major stories. I mean, they really partied back then. You know, their rider consisted of tons of cocaine and, you know, a lot of drugs back then. Yeah. But by the time I toured with him, it was the AA tour. So, you know, it was Kip Winger, who ended up having a band called Winger, and say Kip and Ken Mary and Kane Roberts, and just a great group of guys. And they were all really into fitness and working out. So it was Guns N' Roses and those bands. I mean, Guns N' Roses, they were shooting up. You know, I had no idea. I just thought they kind of smelled funny. And I was like, wow, they're always sweating a lot. And what's the deal with that? And because, you know, that wasn't my world. You know what I mean? I came from musical theater. I'm like warming up, doing tendus and plies to go out and be whipped by Alice and have him cut my throat, you know?
Was it scary to you at all, being around all these guys?
At first, yeah. But then they were my crew, my tribe, and they protected me. So I was like
awesome.
I was the only chick, so they protected me. I was like the little sister. But yeah, no, he's brilliant. You know, he's a brilliant man, family man, best guy to ever work with ever. He was a semi-pro golfer. So it was cool. I mean, come on. I had to be honest, who doesn't love being on a tour bus and performing in front of 100,000 people at the Reading Festival? I mean, I remember going on that stage going, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out, you know, just from
Oh my God, that kind of energy, if you've never been in front of thousands of people before doing that music or a theater play or Shakespeare, that energy you have being in front of that many people who are just staring at you or cheering or laughing or crying or booing.
Hopefully they're cheering.
Right. That is an experience that is so unique to life, and not like a very small percentage of humans have ever experienced that. So I definitely think we're part of the lucky ones to experience that.
I mean, I loved it. I you know what I loved? I loved crawling in that little bunk on the tour bus and just kind of, or I loved the fact that you could go into a new town, meet a bunch of people, and in a way it was kind of fun to go, bye, I'm going to the next group of people. To me, that was exciting. But it was interesting because my goal, you know, as this 11-year-old girl, is I always wanted to be this rockette. So that wasn't going to happen. So I guess I found my way very, like, strange in a way, because I ended up at Radio City Music Hall. So it's kind of interesting. So I did a bunch of B films where I was always getting killed. I was a scream queen. I was half naked. Back then, it wasn't. Like, now I look at what they put on TV. I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I wasn't trying to act then, you know, now, because it's way more exposure. But
now?
Yeah. I mean, for me, you know, it was like, okay, you flash your boobs and then you're going to shoot someone because it was a stupid comedy, or they were all, like they were all union, but very low budget, or scream queens. That's what we were. We were scream queens.
Wow.
And then I ended up, and I also at the same time, because as you know, you do a lot of things when you're a performer, right?
Oh yeah. I did mime work before I came out. I did a lot of mime work in college.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I didn't care. I did it out here. That was my first TV gig. 1,000 Ways to Die. I played a mime that gets killed, and people think he's like choking, like, you know, but he's actually really choking, and that's how he dies.
See?
So there you go. You got to do everything.
No, you do. So it was always, you know, I always had my bag of my dance shoes, my monologue, my 2 bars, you know, up tempo and ballad and that kind of thing, and, you know, moving on. So I always worked. I was really lucky. And then when that tour ended, I just did a bunch of films and commercials as a dancer or a singer or low budget as an actress. And then I ended up working with Bette Midler for 7 years. So with Tony Basil. And so I was there. You have the 3 Rockettes, and then you have the chorus girls. So I was one of the chorus, so it was 4 of us. Yeah. And I loved her. So I worked with her off and on. for 7 years.
Do you soak up like as much as you can when you're in those moments watching these like masters at their craft, and like what's it like for you?
I wish I would have had more yoga then, to be honest with you, because my mind was, I had a lot of fun. It was great, but I don't think I realized, at the time, because I was always thinking about the next gig. It's very not good. But I didn't have yoga then, and I was very impatient. So I think I didn't realize that until, kind of when I decided to get out of the business as a performer. And basically, I was, 36, 37 when we were, it was the HBO special for Bette Midler. We ended up going to Radio City Music Hall. We had to sit down for 8 weeks. Longest running show that I can think of that we had. And so it was very interesting because I remember going there going, this is what I always wanted. That, I felt like, oh my God, when I was 11, I wanted to be a showgirl. I was never tall enough. It was never right. I had to do like all kinds of crazy performing shit.
Yeah.
And there I was. And I remember just looking around on the stage, and maybe I was 37, I can't remember. And I'm looking around going, okay. And the director I did a couple commercials with, he knew me, and he goes, are you okay? And I said, I'm done. I want babies. I really wanted babies.
Yeah.
So that's what happens with females around the late 30s.
Yeah.
So if you're dating someone that's in their late 30s and you don't want to have kids, you better beware, because that comes on strong, those feelings. And I remember going, that's it. I'm going to get off the road. And I was always working out. And so as a dancer, and then yoga. I started yoga in New York. I started on Iyengar in New York City.
You started studying it.
Studying it. And off and on the road, but never seriously. So when I decided to not do the business anymore, and I needed to find a husband if I was going to have babies.
Yeah, that helps sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I didn't have a boyfriend, so I thought, oh crap. All right, how does this work? All right, this.
There was no Tinder back then?
There's no. Come on, I'm old. No.
Wait, what did they have? They had those where it's either the girl stays in one place and there's a bunch of girls and the guys. Did you ever do that?
No.
Speed dating?
No. We didn't have even that. We didn't have that.
How did you guys date?
You meet people through.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God, meet people through friends. But no, I had to chop. It was 36, 37.
Yeah.
And my lucky ex-husband.
Yeah.
He got me. So. So what happened is, when I decided that, I went behind the scenes a little bit. I was curious about how people produce things. So I was a production coordinator for a moment, and then I did some choreography, and because I was trying to stay more home, and then I met my ex-husband, and it was great. I had 2 boys, and that's when I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I started taking yoga a little more seriously. I did my first teacher training just to deepen my practice, and then I was like, I should open up my own studio. So I opened up my first studio in North Hollywood, not far from where Yoga NOHO Center is. And I really didn't know what I was doing at all. Like, I finished my teacher training, and the next week I rented the space. And I remember going, okay, well, fake it till you make it, the old kind of performing mentality. I don't know if it worked, but
no, it 100% works. And this is something that I've actually been echoing for the past few weeks with friends and people close to me. And I saw it on another podcast by Mike Tyson. And he said, if you want to be the champ, you have to train like the champ. You don't start training or acting like the champ after you become a champion. This happens way before you become champion. So that fake it till you make it mentality might have like a weird connotation in your mind, but it's true. Like, if you want to be a successful actor in this business and be like at the top level, you have to see what those top level actors are doing, and you have to train like they do. You have to live it every day. If you want to be a yoga teacher, or if you want to teach yoga or whatever, like, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
So you just you do.
Yeah, you do.
You're gonna make mistakes along the way, but you have to live it, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really didn't think I was going to become so serious about yoga. I, I started my studio, kind of was a little itching to get back into performing a little bit, but then I just felt like what I started seeing. So one of my first students that really made me think, oh wow, this is amazing work, the yoga, right? Just as amazing as if you watch someone or listen to someone sing a great song, or you watch a great play, or you watch a musician play a great piece. I had this woman, her name was Rosie. I'm new at business too. I never owned a business, and my family, they're all business-minded people. So they almost laughed when I said I'm going to open a studio. They laughed because I told them, well, guess what? I go, it's yoga, just everything goes. I'm just going to run it like however. And they're like, okay. Just so you know, that's not how you run a yoga studio.
Yeah.
Right? Because yoga people can be, the business can be harsh too. There is that
It's a
too.
business.
Humans are humans, and, But it was interesting. Rosie came to me. She looked a little crazy. She came into, at that time I had just a one-room studio, really beautiful, and it just had, where you walk in and it was just a nice, beautiful scrim that separated the entrance from the studio.
Yeah.
Right? She walks in, I'm sitting there at this little antique desk, and she just sat down and she plops herself down and she goes, I need help. I don't know. And she started mumbling, and she's like, I just need something, and I just, nothing works. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, the crazies are out. I'm on Magnolia on the wrong side, on the other, kind of on the, more of the east side. And I'm thinking, crap, what am I going to do? And I started looking at her, and I'm thinking, well, is she homeless? Is she crazy? I looked at her shoes. She had really nice shoes, right? Nice watch, and a nice ring. And I went, okay, she's not crazy. She just looked at me, and I said, oh, well, how can I help you? And I'm thinking, oh, man, where's my mace? What, I didn't know, who she was. And she looked at me, and she goes, my daughter died. She was 20. She came home from college, and she was hit in a car accident. And she died. And that was it. And I died. And I just stood, and I looked at her, and I thought, holy crap, what am I going to say? Why is she, So I looked at her and I go, look, I'm never going to bring your daughter back, but I can help you. And I didn't know what the hell I was saying. I really didn't know what I said. I said, but I'm going to help you. You come every day, and you do your yoga every day, and we're going to help you. She came every day. I had little rosy tissues because she, it was, that's fucked up, and she... What happened was she started to tell me how she was on a lot of meds. And so after her daughter was killed in the car crash, the doctors just kept saying, you need painkillers, you need muscle relaxers, and all of a sudden it didn't work, right? So 6 months later, she was like a different person. And she came every day. She would cry her eyes out. I didn't have, I can't bring her daughter back. I didn't have those kind of answers. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I was very new as a teacher and as a studio owner. And I just said, I think this works if you do it every day. And what's great is that she got off all of her meds, different type of person. About 3 months later, she actually moved away from the city. She met a guy, and, her life started to change. And she wrote me a letter. Said that I saved her life. Now, I didn't save her life. I gave her a space. But in my performing career, no one ever told me I saved their life. They might say, oh, that was a nice little dance you did, or hey, your voice sounds great, or hey, wow, you... And that's all worthy, but man, this hit my soul way different. And I thought, there's something to this. Because I always thought yoga was a little boring because I was, out of my mind and very competitive and very like, I'm not going to sit and do that yoga crap. I mean, those people are granola. What do they do? I'm kind of wild. But that woman, Rosie, taught me a huge lesson. And the lesson was I just gave her a space. I'm not the creator of yoga, right? But it must work.
I've got to share something with you then. And this is something very, very personal that I talked briefly about it on other podcasts, but 2016 was when I really started consistently going to Yoga NOHO. And some really, really traumatic things happened to me that year. A really stressful year. Personal, finance-wise, I was at my tail end. And there was something miraculous. And I don't know where to pinpoint it exactly, but you telling this story, it paralleled to something that I did that helped me. And it was that daily practice of doing yoga. There's something very special about it because my daily practice of it, I had been doing it on and off, but something about doing it daily, the discipline of it, the days I didn't want to do it, that I still did it and showed up, something slowly started to change internally in my mind, in my emotions, in the way I approached problems, in the way I approached my past problems, in the way my craft was starting to develop, and the way my confidence started to grow. And that is a lifesaver in this scary, scary world that we live in. And if you live your life and you haven't experienced that type of dreadful anxiety, that existential dread, or what am I doing with my life, or how am I going to get out of this, or I'm at rock bottom, or I've lost some, I don't know how to live anymore. Like you said, yoga is that tool that helps you and gives you practical results. I've never known anyone who's done yoga consistently and been like, my life is ruined.
No.
like
No.
who has, no one has said like, yoga ruined my life. I got flexible and learned to control my emotions and mind.
Yeah, no. Well, it's a science. It's, a 5,000-year-old science. It's discipline, and humans need to be disciplined. The Yoga Sutras, which are statements to regulate your life and keep you balanced, mirror a little bit of the Bible and the Ten Commandments.
They also mirror, sorry to interrupt you, but like other religious texts.
Yes.
It's like pure wisdom.
It's wisdom and science, and we as humans need balance. And as we have all these external emotions happening from outside, and also we're so focused on materialistic things, which having a nice car, having a nice house, liking nice clothes, hey, that's fine. But being attached to those material things, that's not what's going to be making you a balanced person or a sane person. And so even the yamas and niyamas, as you're learning in your teacher training, those are guidelines to remind us, oh, wait a minute. I don't really need to attach myself to this type of thinking or behavior, or I don't really need to be around people that are going to bring me down or suck my life out of me, or satya, not be truthful to me, or I don't need to hoard things. I don't need to collect a bunch of things to make me feel good. That whole idea is less is better, right? Then we start becoming balanced, but it's a practice. So, when I tell people, I'm like, look, it is a practice. And as soon as we get off that practice, we start to falter a little bit. And that's just being human. And it works. And we have to treat our bodies way better than we do. And we don't have a lot of help. So unless you have yoga or guidance or you're an athlete, our government isn't going to tell you, hey, maybe the, Krispy Kreme isn't a good idea, or they're not going to push anything that's healthy. And so you have to find that information yourself. if you want a strong immune system, right, you have to learn how to eat better. Definitely exercise. Breath work is amazing. You know that by taking your Kundalini.
Oh my God. The breath work by itself has made me a better actor. It's made me more energized. It's incredible. And that's the shocking thing, that all these teachings are almost hidden. They're put aside, or they're made fun of, or they're, these, you know what I mean? And again, going back to Yoga NOHO in school, the teachers you have there and that you've cultivated there are what makes it really special. Because, maybe I'm in the mood this week. I need to practice my breath work. I'm going to take Chutney's class.
Right.
I need to, you know what? Let me get back into Chutney's class a little bit. I need to work on my breath. Jason, I'm going to take a hot yoga class with Jason. I really need to find some good flow in there as well. So there's just so many tools, and the more you take it, the more you're able to recognize which tools do what for you and how they help yourself, and what you can practice on your own as well. It's absolutely great, Karen.
Well, the thing is to remember it's endless. So the practice of yoga is endless. So what keeps you healthy mind, soul, and spirit is knowing that it's an endless practice, right? And that you respect knowledge, right? That's written in the Yoga Sutras, that knowledge, you respect knowledge as much as you respect your body and mind. And the fact that, idle hands, or, that's more biblical, but in the yoga book of The Light on Yoga, Mr. Iyengar, says, yoga is not for the weak or the meek. It's not for the lazy, right? It's important that you keep a value in and knowledge and self-study, and to keep persevering. And that's the thing. That's the key to, I think, people being living a healthy, happy life. Age is just a number, right? So, this idea that, oh, wow, I'm going to wake up every day and there's something new. You're a little curious about things. But most people, you don't have the time. And a lot of it is just like Rosie, right? She didn't know where to go. The drugs weren't working. The antidepressants weren't working. Look, I love East meets West. I think there's a place for Western medicine and Eastern. But I do think if you have a strong immune system and a strong body to become at first, then you only need Western medicine when it gets something that's severe. You get in a car accident, or for me, I went through a horrible thing in 2020. I had septic shock and almost died. Crazy, right? So, some oregano oil wouldn't have helped me then, right? It was like, okay, she's shutting down. We need antibiotics. She's in the ICU. We're going to lose her. Right. So I wasn't going, hey, man, will you stop? I want to, just put oil over my body. It was probably not going to work at that moment. So I do agree, East and West, but I do think that what happens is with the yoga is you get to the physical to get to the emotional. So I think when people first come. So I used to work for Core Power, right? So after I sold my first studio, I went through a divorce, and then I went through yoga studio management. So I worked for Core Power, Yoga Works, Nam Yoga LA, Mandala Center. I opened up Tantris with Russell Simmons, which that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that in a little bit, if you don't mind. I had so many questions about that.
And I learned all of them were great businesses on like the business end of yoga. And I remember when I first went to Core Power, and I thought, oh my God, this is the sloppiest yoga I've ever seen, because I studied on Yasara and Iyengar, and I was kind of a yoga snob, though. Like, ooh. Like, now I look back and I went, okay. And I guess, Core Power was like the McDonald's of yoga. Trevor Tice was brilliant, who created Core Power. He's not with us anymore. He actually died pretty young. But he was brilliant, and his heart was in the right place. And when I when I took away my ego, because I did have a lot of knowledge, probably more than some of the other teachers there, but what I found was a lot of those people would have never found yoga if they probably wouldn't have gone into a traditional yoga studio. For that reason of, oh, this feels more like a yoga gym and this is more accessible. So there was something really brilliant about that where I thought, there's a takeaway from here, right? And a lot of times, as long as they don't get hurt, because a lot of times, alignment and if you're taught
That's super important. That's super important. That, as I'm learning in the teacher training program, you don't want to hurt your students. You want to make sure that they leave stronger. And so I think that's very important, in my opinion.
It's very important. So as long as you don't hurt yourself at those places that go maybe a little too fast, too crazy, and don't really look after your alignment, they all look good, though, in their booty pants. So all the teachers are wearing, there was one teacher where it would be like 60 people would show up, and I said, you kind of look like you're going to the doctor's office. Can you, maybe the shorts be a little longer?
Oh, okay.
Because it's a little like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What class is this? Where can I take it?
Too much
No,
booty. Yeah, too much booty. But what happened was some of those people, then they want to learn more. So I think it's great. Every place has their place. So there's a lot of studios like that, Core Power, Hot 8, studios like that. They're accessible, and they have a good business model, and where people don't feel like they have to be a yogi to walk in the door.
Yeah.
And so I think that works well. But the physical is just a teeny bit of the magical part of yoga. But you get to the physical, like if you have people that don't want to do it, bring them, have them, make them feel good. And then they start going, wow, maybe I should eat a little differently. Maybe I should meditate. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, breath work. And how does that ignite my, internal organs? And, oh, that's right. Hypertension. That's a big killer, right? So people start going, wow, sciatica. Why am I taking meds for sciatica when, maybe if I do a little more hip openers and I did some deep stretch 3 days a week, it will hurt at first, but I'll break through that barrier, and then I won't need any medication, which has how many side effects?
Right. That's you nailed it on the head, where it's hard to do yoga physically and correctly without awareness. And so you start developing that physical body awareness, like, oh, whoa, I have to move my foot directly underneath my knee, otherwise it's not going to be stable. So, okay, every time I get into warrior one or lunge or crescent pose, I got to make sure that's aligned. Great. I'm now becoming more aware. Every time I'm moving through it, more awareness, more aware. Oh, my breath. Oh, that's right. I have to make my stomach kind of, when you're starting off, you're like, okay, I got a big belly. Oh, that's a deeper breath. Oh, whoa. And then you start becoming more aware of the emotional things that you're dealing with in life. Oh, wait a minute. That makes me angry all the time. Why does that make me Maybe if I breathe through it, okay, well, when I breathe, I feel better. Can I apply that to this situation? So it's that awareness that starts to grow more and more and starts maybe attacking some of those things that you're dealing with on the inside. How do you teach someone who's lazy or doesn't have perseverance to continue doing it on a daily basis?
You beat them.
You beat them? Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I bring out my old Alice Cooper whip and whip the shit out of them. No, I'm only kidding. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't do that.
No.
No.
There's probably some place in
You know
LA
what's
that does
crazy?
that.
I still have that whip.
Really?
And that was
Oh my
how many
gosh.
years ago? Oh my God, 87, 80. Looks like,
That's the year I was born.
yeah, okay. Okay. Isn't that a shame?
34 years ago.
34 years ago, I still have that friggin' whip.
Wow.
I don't know. It's one of those pieces that you might have to use for your private yoga students.
Oh my God, probably.
We didn't talk about this yet in
Yeah.
the training, but you know what? It's very difficult. So to get people motivated, if you can, that's why when you're teaching, there's a fine line of pushing people too hard, right? If they start out slow. So say if I have a private client and they're just like, wow, I just can't focus. I might say to them, look, if you just wake up meditate for 5 minutes. Do one breath technique. Do 6 sun salutations. That's it.
Yeah.
I think you have to start slow and go to where they are, right? Then they'll start feeling a little better, right? But if you push them too much, then like anything else, they're going to lose interest or they'll get frustrated, right? So we want to make sure that they start slow and consistent. That's key.
I like that. Okay. That helps out tremendously because I do realize that not a lot of people have my type of perseverance or discipline, and I'm always, now that I'm transitioning into hopefully teaching soon.
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, how do I cultivate that? How do I help someone who doesn't? How do I guide them to do that? So that clarifies it a lot. And by the way, I'm having such a blast in this yoga teacher training program.
Yay.
What I love about it is, my favorite part so far is the history of what yoga is and how there is pure wisdom in the foundational principles of what yoga is. It's pure knowledge.
It's pure knowledge. And it's been handed down through time.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, the lineage that we're studying, was 200 before Christ era. So it's held the test of time.
Right.
Right? The yamas, the niyamas, that's the lineage that we're studying. So that says something, right? I think that at the end of the day, people have to also know that your yoga practice shouldn't, it's not all going to happen in one day. So you have to switch your mind and not say practice, say lifestyle. Right? So
I could see lifestyle working for some people. Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right. So
absolutely.
now this is my lifestyle. So how is yoga? How am I working my yoga every day? And hey, one day it might be very physical, and the next day might go, you know what? Today I am going to actually meditate on satya, truth, or I'm going to do something of service. The karmic yoga. Because that's all starts being part of your yoga path, right?
Right.
And, stepping into this place of having no fear, just faith of going through this system and knowing that it's there for you. A big part of yoga that people don't really realize, too, is that surrendering to God.
Yeah, that's something I want to share with, and I know everybody has their specific religious beliefs. That's fine, but I want to share.
They say God, so
the creator of everything, and that's what I was like. Whoa, yoga identifies that. I never knew that before, and the more you read into it, you're like, okay, this is really heavy spiritual things. If I'm really going to delve into this deserves a lot of respect and kind of like a piety when you're approaching it. Because that way, I feel that then you can take from it purely, if that makes sense. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
That it's quite a journey and an eye-opening experience. And again, for the people listening, no matter what stage you're at physically, I've got to bring. You have to you just try out yoga if you haven't never done it before. Roger.
Yeah.
Do you remember Roger? Yes.
Well, you see, so I have a huge, big picture of him that I'm going to put up in the studio as soon as it's one area, but I have a small picture that I blew up of him. Yeah, he literally couldn't walk.
After a car accident, right? Yeah.
And right before he died in 2020, he was doing Chinese splits and coming every day. In fact, he had a key to the studio. So I was like, dude, whenever you want to come here, just come here. Oh no, there's stories like that. And the doctors really were scratching their heads because I think he had like 25 different meds and he went down to maybe 1 or 2.
Karen, I saw him in class whenever I would go, and he would shake because he had like nerve damage, right? However, when he's doing yoga or Warrior One or like a headstand or he was so much more still. And I'm looking over and I'm just in my mind, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go.
Right.
And it was such it wasn't a competition. It was a motivator for me. I'm like, this guy's showing up every day. I'm going to show up every day.
Every day he showed up.
Sometimes twice.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy is such a kind soul. And it makes you so thankful for everything that you have in life and just for existing with all your problems. Just to be thankful for your problems that you have in life. That makes life so worth living. I don't know what else to say. It just makes me really emotional.
I think we create a lot of problems. So we create problems that we don't even really, people get upset because, oh my God, my nail broke, or, whatever.
Or my producer didn't hook up the mics that he was supposed to hook up with.
Oh, really? Okay, that's why these sound. Oops.
I'm just kidding. I'm giving him such a hard time.
No,
about
but
it.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reminds us to be humble. That's why the God element really is in the yoga text, the old yoga text, is
Absolutely.
so that because so it takes that ego off ourselves, and that we become humble and gracious, and walk through life in grace, and not really live in this fear. And I'm telling you, 2020, and it's still happening. People still, fearful, even though COVID numbers are almost nothing. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. Everybody, Florida is going to be I love the way he's running Florida, by the way. That governor, their economy is going to be booming because he gets it. But people are running around in fear, and I don't blame them. If you're looking for outside stimulation, right, and you're watching the news 24/7, and you don't have any kind of spiritual path at all, it's going to be a very scary ride.
Oh man, I can't express that to you enough. Absolutely. That's the thing. That's also another, beautiful thing about yoga. It develops your awareness, correct? So it helps you make choices. On your own, so that you're not so heavily influenced by outside circumstances that can sway you one way or the other. And it forces you to educate yourself and to be honest with yourself, because the more you do yoga, the harder it is to lie to yourself about things.
Yeah, because you're starting now you're starting to respond to situations. You're not reacting. That one breath that you take before deciding anything, before pushing send on your phone or whatever, we've all done that. We should have taken a lot of breaths, right?
Oh, yeah. You
just go, oh God. We move through life like that, and it becomes a very different outcome than reacting.
Absolutely.
And you know what? And also, we don't have to agree with things that are going on, but then as a yogi, if you start becoming more aware and taking that breath, then you start looking at things. You look at things where you don't have to agree with, but it's through grace, it's through gratitude, it's through a loving heart.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the difference.
Absolutely.
Right? For sure.
I've got to ask before, how are we on the break? Do we got to take a break are we done with the Adobe segment, or are we good?
Got like 8 minutes.
8 minutes on the
Okay.
Adobe segment. Okay. Before I forget,
Yeah.
I gotta know the Tantra, Russell Simmons.
Oh, God, Russell. God bless you. I think he's still in, he ran away to, where did he run to? Bali.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad to run away.
That's not a bad place to run away to.
Look, this is the real deal about that whole thing.
Okay.
So Tantris, when I was offered to be the GM for Tantris, I thought, wow, this is great. We're going to open a ton of locations, and I'll retire doing Tantris, I guess. The CEO was great. I still adore him. This guy Glenn, amazing. I was excited to work with Russell. Has accomplished a lot. I mean, come on, Beastie Boys, right? Smart guy, made a lot of money. Has practiced yoga a long time. It's not like he came into the business and didn't practice yoga. He had a very strong meditation practice. But that's a pure example of, he was still in his own ego. He wasn't really humble. He didn't surrender to God. really, or he wouldn't have behaved the way he behaved, right? Now, I think he had really good intentions. The Tantris Studio was probably the most beautiful studio I've ever seen. I don't know, it was like 4 million or whatever. It was beautiful.
Whoa, 4 million. How big was it?
The actual studio space wasn't huge, but it was, where the Soho House is?
Oh, and
Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been in there.
9200
Yeah,
building.
I've been in the Soho House.
So it was the bottom floor of the, so the Soho House is on the top.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of funny because I thought, oh my God, I'm at the Soho House having interviews with yoga teachers. I thought, this isn't going to last long. I might as well buy up, let's go to lunch there every day.
Yeah.
And I think he had really great intentions at first, but wasn't realistic about what the business is. And I think he underestimated real yogis, and I think a lot of yoga teachers, right? So to take the seat of a yoga teacher, it's like a hairdresser, your bartender, or even more, it's deeper than that, right? People come to you and open up to you and trust you. And they'll ask you all kinds of questions. They want, you're pretty much their therapist sometimes, right? So when you take that seat, it's a lot of responsibility. Pastors have the same thing, ministers,
Right.
People they're supposed to feel like they're in a safe place. So that's what I teach in teacher training, right? Hey,
Yes.
guys, your number one goal as a teacher, you might not memorize all the postures and anatomically where it's going, working, and what chakra it's working. You might not memorize that. But what you can do as you start out is give people a space, like Rosie, hey, here's a space. It's safe. And, it's interesting because even my studio, I'm a Christian, but out of respect, I don't really have any, there's no religious paintings or statues or anything.
Right.
It's a.
Oh, what was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what that was either. Oh, okay. I don't know.
Ooh.
Tomorrow is Halloween, so.
Okay. But so my thing is you have a safe space for everyone because yoga, remember, is a system of science. It was never intended to be religious, but religions did take from yoga.
Yes, they did.
So that's where there's that fine line. But at the end of the day, it should be a safe space. So Tantris was this beautiful, gorgeous place. We were all excited to work there. It should be a safe space. Not a space for a model yoga night.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Model yoga night. Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of things that at like 12:30 in the morning, I would get a call from Russell going, Karen! And I'm like, oh my God, I guess I have to answer this phone call because, he's my boss.
Right.
I don't want to be fired. He doesn't have boundaries. Yeah, no boundaries. So I would pick up the phone and, I have a great idea. What about model yoga night? And I thought, okay. I guess I'm supposed to say that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next thing you know, we're Ford models. I'm told that I'm supposed to contact them and have yoga model night. And
Hi, I'm a red flag. Nice to meet you.
yes, okay, how creepy is this? And we actually did it, and it was comical. And I remember.
Hold that thought. We're ending
Yeah.
on the Adobe Live segment.
Okay.
So hey, if you're listening live on Adobe Radio, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out Yoga NOHO, Karen Russell. The Instagram is what?
Well, what is my Instagram?
At Yoga NOHO.
Well,
You'll find it.
it's
Just Google.
yoga
We'll put it up.
_NOHO.
Yeah.
And it's yoganoho.com, North Hollywood.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. Check it out. I'm there. There's some awesome people there as well.
Oh, we have a great we got a great team. Yeah.
Seriously, thank you so much for tuning in live on Adobe Radio. If you want to continue listening to the full episode, make sure you listen in just shortly after this. In a few hours, the full episode will be up on YouTube and will be up on Spotify. And make sure you hit subscribe button as well. Thanks for tuning in live. So continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, there I was. I remember, model night, and it's really hot because it's hot yoga, and I mean, all these beautiful women coming in. And I put my mat in the back, and there was like 60 women, and I thought, I wonder how this is going to play out. And I thought, wow, I kind of feel like I'm back in rock and roll. Like there was this feeling of just kind of backstage creepiness. Okay. I mean, Russell's 60 years old at the time, and everybody's like 18, 19, all the new young models coming out.
Right, at 12:30 in the morning.
No, that's when he would call me.
Oh, that's when he would call. Oh, I thought the yoga class was at 12:30 in the morning. That's why I was like, okay, well, we got to change the time a little bit.
No, that's when he would call me that. No boundaries.
Okay. Yeah.
No, this was like 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And there you go, and all of a sudden the music's going, and I'm not going to mention the teacher that was teaching, but he was teaching, and a very kind of well-known teacher, and all of a sudden I hear the girls going, oh my God, it's getting hot, and then they're like taking off their shirt with the little bra pants and little G-string, not even a booty, shorts, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I know I'm older, but this is just pitiful. And then it's going through, and kind of tapping them on the ass, going. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. This is so insane to hear because that's so absurd. It feels like something you would read in a movie script and going, oh, that's the crazy scene where all this stuff happens. But nobody would actually do that in real life, But then here you go.
No. So, and there was that behavior happening a lot. And I was told that, this is what happens. We've been dealing with it for 30 years. And I said to him, but this isn't rock and roll. This is not backstage at Beastie Boys in the 80s.
Right.
This is yoga, and this is not going to work. And then I was also told that I didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, okay, I get it. Okay, look, just pay me. So that lasted for about another 9 months. And there was some, I walked in, a little make-out session with a much younger woman and things like that. And I thought, every bone in my body.
With the teacher and the student, you mean? Is
that with Russell and the student. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, and I was like, okay. And then finally I just said, guys, this is not going to work. Something's going to happen. And, of course, he had a habit of yelling at me in front of people over, like, the picture is not straight. And I kind of have a hard time working for big corporate. That's probably why I'll just end up owning my own business. But he started screaming at me, and I couldn't take it. And I told him, with all due respect, all the money in the world is never going to buy you integrity and respect. And that's your problem.
Wow.
Well, I walked away, and my phone blew up and was like, you're going to be fired, so hurry up and resign so you can get your benefits. So I did that very quickly. And what happened is exactly about a month after that, after I left, it all blew open. Yeah. So he had sexual harassment cases. He had rape cases from years ago. In fact, what was really weird? There was this mom that I was at a basketball game with about like the same time that this was happening. Beautiful. I knew. I said, you used to model. She goes, oh, yeah. She actually was one of the ones that was raped by, well, I can't say it for sure. I wasn't there, but that was one of the cases. So he had several rape cases, but old. No, they were old, and they came out of the woodwork. And then that's when it was right in the thick of the Me Too, movement. And the thing is at the end of the day, and I talked to LA Times, and, I did a little article and stuff. And look, at the end of the day, I don't think he's a bad person. I think, actually he put a lot of money into something that could have been really, really great. I don't think he's a bad person at all. I always thought to myself, hey, if you would just apologize, take responsibility for your actions. If you want to be a real yogi, then man up.
Right.
But it crumbled. The whole thing crumbled down.
Real quick, Peyton, are we good on sound? I saw you.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. That's something that I feel like a lot of people in this power teacher position, they let that the ego takes over, and they realize they have a lot of influence over their students, and all of a sudden there's a connection happening, and they take advantage of that consciously or sometimes without awareness, and they go with that, and then those kind of things happen, and that becomes an inappropriate relationship with the teacher and student.
Very inappropriate.
Very inappropriate because, like you said, there's a trust that goes on there. And even if that student is initiating things, there has to be kind of like a hard line, I feel, from the teacher, because that's not what this relationship is built on. Maybe outside and like, hey, maybe,
if you're a teacher and you end up meeting the love of your life because you're on a yoga retreat or you're doing whatever, that's different. But
right. But I'm talking like this kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking
No.
about. That's obviously not the love of your life whenever you've got
this was
model yoga going on.
This was young girls coming to me, probably in different ones, like every 3 weeks, and it was always a secret. Oh, don't tell anybody, but I'm his new girlfriend.
Oh.
That really bothered me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't roll that way.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people like that, I think that they can get help. I
Right.
think if their heart is really true, I think it's a shame that it ended up like it did with Russell, because we had a very beautiful space. We had a lot of beautiful people around him working. And I think in his soul, he doesn't really want to be that way at all.
Right.
So I wish him the best, but you got to man up, and that's the thing. It takes a very strong person to be able, and being a yoga teacher is almost the same as when you're performing. You're going to have a group of people. If you start getting very popular and say you have trainings and you're going all over the world, say you have a book out and you're doing all this stuff, you're going to have groups of people that trust you, and you better get more right with your practice. That's when you practice even more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you as a teacher need to practice, because if you're really practicing yoga, you're not going to cross that line.
Because that's not what yoga is really about.
Mm-mm.
Especially from a teacher perspective and sharing. And
No, we have a lot of them. I mean,
it's-
John Friend I studied with John.
what's that one guy? The Bikram?
Bigram.
Yeah.
When I went to India, they always laugh about him. They think he's a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really bad.
Some of the stories I heard were just insane.
Oh, God. For years.
It's a cult. It
Yeah.
becomes a cult.
Yeah.
That's
No,
the
that's
scary-
a different element.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That becomes really malicious at that point, because you're really brainwashing people who are easily brainwashed. And that's such another form of manipulation. And
Yeah,
enough
it
evil
does
is-
happen. It
maybe,
happens, though.
yeah.
There's great teachers. John Friend was another one. I adored him. I studied, went and traveled and studied a few workshops and things with him, and very smart.
Yeah.
And same kind of thing happened. But also, in all due respect, there were things that I saw where women were infatuated and would throw themselves on them. But still, if you're really the master teacher, it doesn't matter if they're throwing themselves on you.
No.
If you're really studying and doing the yoga, if you're really following the yamas and niyamas, which states, you don't lie, you don't steal, you don't cheat, you're clean, you have thoughts of using people, you put God first, I mean, it says all of this in the yamas and niyamas. And if you do that, you ain't going to be doing that. You're not going to have model yoga night.
Right. Maybe like once every few months. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Maybe
Don't cancel me, please. I'm kidding. No, discipline is so mandatory for humans. You've got to have limits. You've got to have boundaries. And you got to find a way to bring that true happiness from within yourself, because the world is constantly changing. And so if you're dependent on worldly things to make you happy, that's it.
You're done.
And yeah, you will find inner peace. Peace and happiness can be different at times, and that's okay. Because life is not going to be always great things happening to you. But when bad things do happen to you and you can find peace, that's the key right there.
Yeah, that's when you grow.
The beautiful part of it. Absolutely. That's when you grow and you just, I don't know. That's the most beautiful part.
Yeah.
That's it. We're so smart, Karen.
Aw.
We're so smart.
Yeah.
No,
Well.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. No.
The ego's talking. I'm kidding. No, but I'm just so thankful that we both have a certain awareness that we're able to experience life with at this point.
It takes
and
time.
share.
It takes time. And one program I'm really proud of that Chutney is just starting is the 12-step yoga at the studio. So we have 12-step yoga at the studio every Sunday night from 6:30 to 8. So it's a Kundalini yoga class with a meeting, and it's AA inspired.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, wonderful. Chutney's great for that. That's a great fit.
Yeah. So I think all of us have had. I mean, everyone has probably had some type of addiction in their life, some type of tragedy in their life that where you start picking up habits that you want to break. Yeah, so I'm really proud of that program.
Yeah.
And that works. We used to do it years ago at my first studio at Yoga Groove when I owned that, and that was in 2004. And it was funny because they were all, I'll never forget the first, I didn't know what it was. It was called 11-step yoga. Yeah. And I said, well, I don't know. Well, bring in a lot of people, I guess. My dad's like, yeah, whatever brings in people, just bring them in, because they didn't understand yoga. They're like, yeah, put a pop machine out there too. They might want to buy some soda. I'm like, I'm not going to put a soda machine in my yoga. You know what I mean? They're just thinking like, they would have like laundry machines in there too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so I come to the studio and I see this big long line. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is great. Look at all these people. They're all lining up and they're smoking cigarettes right underneath the yoga groove center. And to this day, I wish I would have taken a picture. They all wanted coffee. And I thought, wow, what is this? And so, the thing is a lot of them, they started doing the 11-step yoga. It was a woman who created 11th step, but Chutney calls it 12-step yoga. After a while, months started happening, and these same people, and then they started taking class at the studio and regular classes. Next thing you know, they're not smoking anymore. Next thing you know, they're, one of the students who took that 11-step program actually ended up buying my studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's
that's
really,
amazing.
Yeah, it's transformative in a way that, and I think what happens too is because yoga, because it has this very organic, bohemian feel, it attracts people, and they just think, oh, okay, yeah, yoga, and they don't really know so they ease into it, and then they start feeling good, and then they go, oh, wow, there really is, discipline and guidelines. And so I think too, that's the attraction, other than, okay, I have to go to this program that's going to make me feel better, and it has to be regimented, and it's going to be called this program. And I think that's why people are attracted to it also.
I grew up with a lot of discipline from my parents, and they forced us to work in our family restaurant a lot, and I hated it. And we did martial arts growing up, and we did a bunch of sports. So there was a lot of discipline, early childhood, teenage years, right there. So hard work was never scary, or, oh, I don't want to do hard work. That's too much for me,
Right.
I love you, Dad, but working with my father, I can work with anybody in the world.
Right.
I love you, Dad. Okay? That's the truth. So there's something wonderful when you put a human in set boundaries and force them to adhere to those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be consequences to breaking those. For instance, let's say you keep doing Warrior 2 and your knee is not properly over your ankle and it keeps going forward. Well, you're going to feel some pain
Right.
in the beginning.
Right.
And if you keep doing that, you're going to get injured.
Right.
So it's a little cue for you to, hey, stay within the boundaries or else you're going to get hurt.
Right.
So then what happens is, okay, I know these are the boundaries. Great. When can I bend these rules? Okay, maybe sometimes I can, bend the rule a little bit here or here, but it starts forcing you to be a little bit more creative in the way you think and push through adversity. And
Right.
that's the key to living life.
Right.
To be cunning in the way you think and to have that conviction of ultimate victory in whatever you do. If you can have those two things in life, you can get over most things. You'll be all right.
Well, and also I think, when you come to your mat, just taking that time. So most people, I don't care who you are, you're living a busy life. You get up, you get your cup of coffee, you're on a schedule, you're running to work. When my 2 boys were little, I owned a studio, but I also had 2 little boys, and I was like the poster mom. I was part of the athletics club and the PTA and this and that. So you never had time. So you're just running on this wheel. But one thing that was cool, even if I took that half hour and just stood on my mat and did nothing other than just be there, that's what people really need. And then, because we're amazing, human beings are amazing. We don't even know
Thank you.
most of it, right? You're amazing. Thank you. Aliens, if there are any aliens around, you're amazing too.
I want to hear your alien story. Sorry, that reminded me. Do you
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, okay.
All right.
So there was this guy.
And this is for real. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but
All right.
now I'm not sure exactly if he is, but I was told that he is. And
All right.
okay. So, there's the Self-Realization Center, Paramahansa Yogananda Center in in Pacific Palisades, right there.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned that.
The shrine.
Yeah.
So I would go there once in a while. I would bring students to walk through the gardens or meditate, and there was this guy there that worked there, and I don't know, there was something about him. He always looked perfect. I mean, perfect the way he moved, perfect. Everything was perfect about him, which is interesting. Not so interesting, but interesting. So flash forward, he's creating this brain institute, and we're talking, and then I had a business partner who wanted to meet him, and before that meeting, I had a girlfriend of mine who's an intuitive, and she's pretty intuitive, right? She actually came to my studio, and right away she said, "Oh, sister, someone died in this room." And it was right when we took over the studio. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I found out later there was a teacher there that actually died, and they think the husband killed her, but it was like weird. So she's, yeah. So I was eating lunch with her before I had this meeting with him and this partner, and she was talking about aliens and everything, and I said, well, do you think, if they're if they're walking around with us, if there's good aliens, they might want to look just like us? She goes, yeah, but they would be really perfect.
Yeah.
And the way they move, however they dress, what they say. So we're eating, and that guy walks by and he goes, "Hello, Karen," and I go, "Hi," and he left, and she goes, "Oh my God, you just met your first alien." And I went, "Are you kidding me?" Because I thought that there was something strange, and she goes, "No, he's an alien." So she told me he was an alien. So now flash forward, I tell my business partner we're going to meet with him because he was interested in his brain work that this guy does.
He does brain work?
Yeah, he does some kind of new brain work, but I never ended up working with him.
Okay.
Because it's kind of weird. So we go, I told my partner at the time, I said, hey, this guy's an alien. That's what I was told. And I go, it's kind of creepy because if you look at him, it's like you kind of just, there's something too perfect in the movement and the dress. So we're in the middle of our meeting and we're talking and he kind of looks at us, we're talking, and he looks up and he goes, well, it's not like I'm an alien or anything. And I just freaked out. I was like, and my partner was like kicking me under the table. He's like, holy crap. So I don't know, but I think I really met an alien.
Now I want to go to that shrine, see if I can find him.
I don't know.
If anybody's listening and you've gone to this shrine.
But I might have. I mean,
maybe.
what is the chances? She called it. I didn't tell her. And then I told my partner, and then he brought it up.
I got to say this. If there is an alien and they're doing this kind of stuff, that would seem like the most likely place for an alien to be and hang out around.
Right. Yeah.
The whole universe is so big.
I don't
there
know.
Has to be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know. I don't know, but he seemed like a nice alien.
He seemed like a nice
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So that was my, that's, but it's weird because she picked it up and then he said that and I was just going, okay, this is weird. He's picking up that I know that he is.
Isn't that nuts how sometimes life is like that? The
But he was a
coincidence.
nice one, at least, and so, I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, we used to think my youngest brother was an alien because, well, whenever he ran, it looked like it looked like an alien just got a human body for the first time and was just trying to run. And we're like, what is he doing? What is this guy doing? He ran great. By the way, he plays soccer amazingly,
Right.
but he's so unorthodox in his kicking technique, in his running, in the way he does everything. And that's why he's done yoga with us when he's come to visit it a few times, my youngest brother. And just watching him do stuff like that for the first time physically, anything, is one of the funniest things in the world. Watching him use he ruined his first fancy sushi dinner with us because he didn't know how to use chopsticks that well. And it was just the funniest thing in the world. Yeah. And he had like... He's in there with his fingers getting the...
but that's clever.
Yeah, but it's in the soy sauce bath.
Okay. You mean like he did his fingers like this?
No.
Oh, like he pretended... I thought that's pretty clever. He pretended that the fingers were his chopsticks. But like,
I think if he did that, we would have screamed.
Okay.
No. Karen, I've got to... Just to wrap everything up.
Yep. Go ahead. Wrap it up, baby.
I can't say thank you enough for everything that you've done, not just for me, but for everybody who's come into Yoga NOHO. And it's a great refuge and a great place to practice self-discipline, to find yourself, to get introduced to yoga. It's such a safe place that you've created there as well.
Thank you.
And not just emotionally and everything, but physically. Like your teachers know what they're doing. And that's what I...
I'm kind of a stickler about that. But, I'm really lucky. So, during the shutdown... I mean, it was me, like, dancing around many days going, and Tawny, we were hanging out, and Jason, and, we weren't sure, if we were going to make it through the shutdown. So it was a team. And so all of those teachers stuck by me and just said, hey, whatever you need, we'll keep teaching online. We'll do what we have to do. Don't worry about us. Some of them even said, don't pay me yet until we get open. And I mean, so it was a team of people that has made the place what it is too. I'm very, very lucky in that way.
Yeah.
And I like to bring in one thing about the studio is what is unique now, which is kind of weird because my style of studio was really what it was for a long time. You hire really good teachers. We teach a Hatha style of yoga, which Hatha is the umbrella for all, vinyasa flow, yin, restore, and you let teachers teach. So, a lot of studios started doing their routines. So Bikram's a routine, Core Power's a routine, Hot 8's a routine. You do your C1, C2, C3. And that's a really smart business model because then you can kind of take any teacher and put them in, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're following a script, right? the thing is that what I like is you hire a great teacher, you let them teach, and it's not a script, so I think it's a little more interesting for the student. It's definitely more interesting for the teacher too, and so it's a little bit old school in that way. And I like that. So there's no branding. You know, like someone said, well, what's your brand? And I'm like, our brand is, we're a yoga studio. We're old school in a way, but with a modern flair. That's the brand. It's yoga.
Right.
I don't know.
If you want to take the variations of classes, that's how I studied acting, by the way. It was not just like one set style of acting where I studied. It was a majority of things. Yeah, we had our basic, like we started with Uta Hagen and everything like that.
What did you prefer? Just curious.
Do you want to know?
Yeah. Meisner.
It just Meisner's great. I like working with Meisner. However, I truly believe you need a set structure before you practice into Meisner, because there are certain technical aspects of acting that if you don't have, it's hard to work in television because it's so fast paced. You need to know how to switch things up on a dime, and everything else changes that you need to do with your intentions, your beats, the way you react. So I think there's no set style that I like or prefer. I want to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, to quote Musashi, the great samurai, because you want to make sure that you're able to adapt to anything in the moment. That's what I like about Yoga NOHO. There's so many different styles or a different class or a different teacher, but there's still that foundational structure that you know you're getting the best.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Work with it.
Yeah, I'm a stickler. Anyway.
But yeah. So
oh man,
this
you're
was a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah.
And
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. You want to play us out, Peyton?
I don't got music right
You don't
now,
got the
but
music?
I don't
That's
got
okay.
music, but it's playing.
It's playing right now.
Oh.
Okay. We had music. That's okay. If people want to find Yoga NOHO, where's the best place?
YogaNoho.com.
Okay.
What's our Instagram? See,
I'm pulling it up right now. I'll pull it up right now.
will you pull it up? And because everybody keeps saying you should do a YouTube channel too with all your stuff. I'm really bad with Instagram, Facebook. I go on it like I have someone who does the Instagram.
Yoga_NOHO.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple.
I thought
Yoga_NOHO. Yeah.
There you go.
And
Tomorrow though we have Priestess Madonna. But this won't.
I'm going to Chutney's makeup thing. Yeah, because I was in New York the week before, because I gotta make that up. But that Priestess Madonna thing. But this will air after that.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Yeah.
She's from another planet.
Yeah.
That's what she told me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
Another alien.
I don't know. I'm surrounded by aliens.
I could be from another planet. Sometimes I feel like that. With the amount of frustrating people I have to deal with, then I have to be like, okay, just breathe. You know what? Okay, well, we're still playing the song. I get that, but I'm gonna say one last story.
Okay.
You want to know one of my biggest pet peeves? Is when I ask a question and the other person answers with an answer that I didn't ask the question with.
Oh yes.
So I'll give you an example. It happened today, and I practiced my yoga, which I was really proud of.
Good.
And then we'll end
Did
this.
you breathe?
Oh, so I'm looking for storage shelves for our stuff here, and I go up to the lady working, and I go, hi, I'm looking for large storage shelves that I could build, either made of like metal or some heavy duty plastic, so I can put a bunch of stuff on. And she goes, oh, we have baskets over there. Okay. No, I need shelves. Thank you. Anyway, that's it. Karen, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
This is so
Bye, guys.
huge.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Yeah.